What is consciousness? Let's start with a provocation. You don't live inside the universe. You live inside your version of the universe. A version your mind constructs in real time, accurate enough to survive, and with one extra feature: an image of the self. In the Primeon framework, consciousness can be read as an emergent property of the nervous system, a simulation of the world, plus a subjective model of the I. If physical reality unfolds as field, energy and matter, what is the mental counterpart? The brain is a neural network, billions of neurons connected by synapses, a nodal web. Each neuron receives signals, integrates them, and when a threshold is crossed, fires an electrochemical spike. Neurons don't matter one by one. Patterns do. Coordinated groups, neuronal populations that activate together, correct each other, stabilize, or fade away. The neuronal field mirrors the primeonic field, a medium of relations where reality is not isolated pieces, but stable patterns inside the network. The field becomes, in the mind, a web of nodes. Now, the second level. In Primeon theory, energy arises as propagating synchrony, a pattern that replicates while advancing. Something similar happens in the brain. Signals are not floating data. They are moving dynamics. They travel, bounce, synchronize, and lock into coherent rhythms. And the mind has its own causal limit. Not the speed of light, because the brain is much slower, but a real limit. Conduction speed, synaptic latency, integration time. In other words, the mind is an internal universe with its own maximum update rate. When a pattern coordinates and holds long enough, the system treats it as real. And when that pattern becomes globally integrated, available to perception, memory and action, what we recognize as conscious experience appears. Third level. In Primeon theory, matter appears when energy stops fleeing and achieves closure. Stable boundary, interiority, coherence contained. In the mind, consciousness is not just flow. It is flow that organizes into persistent internal structures. Circuits that close upon themselves. Memories, habits, models. And here is the decisive point. The brain doesn't only simulate the world, it also simulates itself. It builds an internal model of the self. That self is not a magical entity. It is a model, a narrative center of gravity that unifies decisions, memories, intentions, and continuity. And perception is not an objective camera. It is a constant loop. Prediction, sensing, correction, updating the world model and the self model, the outside and the inside of the individual system. If the interpretation fits, the model strengthens. If it doesn't, it adjusts. That is systemic selection inside the mind. Models that predict better and cost less tend to survive. External reality selects systems for stability. Internal reality selects models for coherence. In both cases, what doesn't fit dissolves. What fits persists. But then, what is consciousness for? Every system that exists does so because it can persist and associate. Consciousness is the adaptive leap, a system that doesn't just react, but simulates scenarios, rehearses futures, evaluates risks, and adjusts behavior before paying the real cost. It is expensive. It consumes energy. But it enables something decisive: complex association and planning. That's why, in this reading, consciousness doesn't appear by mystery. It appears by selection. Because a system that can simulate the world and simulate itself can endure and relate at a higher level. So here is the architecture: the physical universe, field, energy, matter; the mental universe, network, electrochemical transmission, association. Consciousness is an emergent property of highly complex nervous systems. It is the way a living system achieves a stable simulation of the environment, a stable simulation of the self, both limited by a causal rhythm of update. It is not magic, not mystical, it is structure. The mind is a simulation of the universe inside the universe observing itself from a subjective position.